Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have the vocalist, Mr. Christopher Rabideau of the band Disillusion Effect from Morgantown, West Virginia. And they have a new album that's out now called Behold the Inevitable Beast, released on October the 1st of 2015. So we're going to be talking to Chris about that. So Chris, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great, John, dude. Thanks for having me, buddy. Thanks for having me. It's going great. You know, just dealing with this crazy hormonal weather of West Virginia, denying climate change, doing that thing.
Yeah. Oh, I feel you. I feel you. Luckily, spring will be here very, very soon, and we didn't have too bad of a winter, thank God. Winters around here are hell, especially in East Kentucky and West Virginia. I mean, my God.
Oh, yeah, it gets brutal, man. We're right up in Morgantown's located in, north central West Virginia, about an hour and a half south of Pittsburgh. So we're, in the Appalachian Mountain Range. And we usually get slammed, so this year wasn't too bad, though. We've actually taken a lot of time off this winter time, because traveling is such a bitch during these months to make shows. And the last thing you want to do is cancel on anybody, not trying to burn any bridges.
Oh, sure.
So, we've just been taking some time off, dude, and getting everything ready for our second full length, getting ready to come out. So, we've enjoyed the time off, but we're itching to get back.
What's impressed you, Chris, the most about making the new album that's out right now, Behold the Inevitable Beast? What's caught your eye about it, if anything, man?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think the biggest thing for us as a band to be proud of from that first album was the fact that we did all of the tracking ourselves, because quite frankly, we just did not have the money to go in anywhere and, work with someone to get that shit laid down. So our original guitar player, Jimmy Rhodes, he took it upon himself to really learn the art of just trying to get some clean tracks so we could get some great pre-production done, so we could just cut down the cost as much as we can. So I think that the DIY approach was definitely a big part of that, and the fact that it was the first time we'd ever tried to crowdfund anything. Mm-hmm. We hadn't been a band for, just a little over 2 years and change at the time, and we were like, is anybody going to give a fuck? If we need help getting the CD together? But we met our goal, man. So I think the combination of the successful crowdfunding campaign and the DIY are really the biggest things.
And that speaks a lot, too, for fans that like you guys to help out, too, man.
Yeah, for that first album, we at that point had only put out an EP that we had recorded locally, and we really weren't incredibly happy with it. And we got really hungry to try to put something of a full length out, and worked on a lot of songs and eventually whittled it down to our best stuff. And yeah, man, the fact that people kind of embraced us right away was really killer, because, we've gone through a lot of lineup changes. Who hasn't gone through a lot of lineup changes? But
sure.
For the first 2 years especially, we just got slammed. We just got our asses kicked. We lost, our founding drummer. We played for almost 2 years with a drum machine, just keeping it going, just to let people know that we were still active. And the fact that we were, a three-piece with the drum machine, getting ready to put out a CD, people still came out to shows. I mean, there was a rough patch where straight up, man, guys just wrote us off. Like, what are these guys doing? It's kind of embarrassing, because these drums sounded terrible, John. You got to understand that we just try to put something together.
For sure.
To make it work. And it was a rough road, man. But eventually we're like, if we just rock the fuck out and keep it going, eventually people are going to be like, you know what? All these guys really need is just a couple of bodies, a couple of like minds. And it just worked out in the end, which is awesome.
Just like you said, persevere, man. The heart and everything, the more work you put in, it'll eventually pay off, and it did.
It really does, man. And all that bad stuff eventually gets used as motivation, I think, when you go to create again. When you go to write, and you write that new material that you just got a chip on your shoulder, And in metal, you need that. You need, you know, the music to kind of say something, or at least have something where people can relate to. You know what I mean? Something that they can identify with, and, you know, they could be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I can kick today's ass even though that it sucks. But you got to give a little something. You got to fight back with the metal, I guess is what I'm saying.
So do you guys like the do-it-yourself way, or do you want to have a producer, or do you prefer just to do it yourself? I mean, you know, you don't have any time constraints or anything like that, so.
Right. Well, being independent and kind of doing all those things is really nice. You know, you get to kind of having that stuff at your fingertips, allow, you know, your material to maybe marinate a little bit more because you're not under the gun, you know, because, I mean, you're paying by the hour. So it's the checks bouncing up. But we do have a producer, though. I don't know if you're familiar with the band Byzantine from West Virginia.
Yes, sir, I am.
Yeah, their producer, Mr. Jay Hannon at 7/8 Studios, is actually the producer of Behold the Inevitable Beast, and we'll be working with him again for our second album that's getting ready to come out here in a couple of months. So we do have a guy who, you know, cleans it up. We just try to get that good tracking done ourselves, but I recommend anyone who has got the patience and the willingness to learn it. It pays huge dividends to create a nice little, you know, DE complex where we can hang out and get that fucking music to have a comfortable environment where you can record and work in. It makes all the difference, man. All the difference.
Any songs off of the Behold the Inevitable Beast that stand out more to you than any on it, man, if possible?
You know, I think that a few of the songs that came later, which include the title track, Behold the Inevitable Beast, the song that we shot our first music video for, Wrath Upon the Confluence, and songs like maybe like Conduit, you know, I think really kind of show a growth in the band and are a nice little segue into where we're going with it, compared to maybe some of the other songs like Oni Kadaki and Dawn of Iron Making that are just a little bit more straightforward. I mean, they're bangers. They'll get people moving in the pit, but we kind of wanted to take it into a little bit more of a progressive approach. And we think that especially Behold the Inevitable Beast really kind of shades the possibility where we could be going there.
How much growth musically have you seen this band go through since the formation of this band, man?
I'll tell you what, man, it's been pretty incredible because we're getting ready to go back on our 5-year, the DE birthday this June. We'll be a band 5 years. And in that time, we'll have put out 2 full lengths and an EP, all independently funded, you know, 2 of which with the crowdfunding, as we talked about. But really just the willingness of everyone in the project through the lineup changes, when we do get those people that kind of settle in and stay around, I mean, they just buy in instantly. And the enthusiasm has always been great. And it's been pretty crazy. I think that the second album shows a huge maturity level. It's a lot more musical rather than just being brutal and heavy. I mean, it is heavy. It's not, you know, getting too soft on you or anything like that, but I think it'll turn people on who are more of a musical fan rather than someone who just wants to destroy someone in the pit, which there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, you have your different kinds of fans. Some people just like a good groove, and that's why you got to keep that in there.
Now, let's get to the new album that's going to come out. You said you guys are completely done writing on it, right? Your guys are getting ready to go into the studio to start recording everything.
Yeah, well, actually, everything is already recorded.
Okay.
We just finished recording the last of the vocals last weekend, and so we're all done with that. All the music has been written. It's been tracked. Jay Hannon, our producer, is going to be taking care of programming all the drums because we didn't acquire our current drummer until really late in the whole process of making this thing.
Right.
So we're just going to, you know, we just didn't want to put that burden on him to have to go and learn all these parts to kill it in the studio. It just wasn't feasible. So he's going to go ahead and program that for us again. And, hey man, we're really stoked on it. We are really, really stoked on it, because unlike the first record, this one's got a concept, which, I think is going to create a lot more of an atmosphere with all the songs. The concept of the album is, a fear of the darkness. It's called Occluphobic, and it's a phobia of the darkness. And it's about, the darkness that dwells in the different layers of our lives. And I think it's something that everyone on some level is going to be able to identify with it, because, we like to keep the material open-ended enough where you can kind of just draw your own interpretations of it. But just think of it as like a heavy metal horror movie soundtrack.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Not too over the top, and we got a couple of instrumental pieces. And really that's the last thing to be done going back to your question, is we just are trying to put the last spice on these instrumental rounds we got going on. And then we're sending it off. We anticipate work to be done within the next 2 weeks on the post-production. And, Jay Hannon is going to do his damn thing and make the magic happen.
Do you have like a release date and an expected time possibly, or are you just going with the flow?
Due to everything that's kind of happened, no hard date, but I would anticipate the Kickstarter to begin the crowdfunding for this to start on April the 1st, on April Fool's Day. So it's going to be a 2-month campaign, because we are trying to raise, $2,000 to go to all the distribution and post-production costs for the album, which, it's going to put us over the top. But we're going to have a lot of great packages for people, man, where essentially they're pre-ordering the record. They're going to get some killer merch. And we even have some packages where the DE will come play a show at your fucking house.
Dude, that's awesome.
We will come. We have all the gear to make it happen. You have the space and the electricity requirements. Call your friends and let's fucking throw down house party style. We just try to, so it's not like a GoFundMe. There's a lot of negative stereotypes about crowdfunding. And it is true that some douchebags and cocksuckers go out there and take advantage of people with that shit.
Oh, yeah.
But for Pledge Music and Kickstarter, the way that those, entities are set up is that you get a finished artistic project at the end. Or, you get something. There's a tangible thing that you're contributing to the completion of. And I think that's great, man. I think it's really the future, and allowing bands that if you can keep up your end of the bargain, you could do 1 million Kickstarters.
And you connect with your fans too.
Yeah, and you do. People feel like they're a part of the family.
Yep.
I felt like the first time we did it, the fan base grew crazy, because people were like, hey, they identify with just, a blue-collar band from West Virginia who's out there trying to make it happen and write music that they're passionate about, and hopefully other people will get turned on to. And, they feel like they're a part of it. And it's awesome. It's really an awesome thing, because it's tough out there, man. You know this.
Yeah.
What sacrifices have you made in order to give bands like ours the opportunity just to be heard to people that may not get turned on to them,
Yep. What helps you keep your mind fresh, open to lyrics and everything, man? What helps you do that?
Well, for me, man, I like to be inspired by a little bit of everything. Be inspired by music that is metal, music that isn't, things biographically in your life that have happened or are happening. I just try to just keep it open and try not to focus so much on what a song needs to be about, but just kind of experimenting with it, just having the open-mindedness and an approach about it to be like, nothing's off the limits in terms of subject matter. Because, you just go on the internet, buddy, you can find a million things to write a song about,
Sure.
Positive and negative. So I think it's just important to just, dive into things that are artistic, you know, watch films, listen to music, just keep those things open, because you just draw inspiration from the strangest places. And sometimes you want it to be some things and it turns into something else. So I think just being open-minded and just keeping them receptors on as much as possible is really the best policy, man. Don't be that guy that says every fucking song needs to be about this. I hate that shit. Yeah. Who doesn't hate that shit?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, and you know, I love bands that are all about, like, when you're in the mood, who doesn't want some negative music? You know what I'm saying? That you had a shitty day, you're pissed off, and you just want to get fucking pissed. But I don't know how many albums you could do with that. You know what I mean? It's just really tough. But I do have a lot of respect for people who don't give a fuck about being like, you know what, our music is never going to be chipper, because life isn't like that. You always got to respect the real. It's just tough to find the inspiration, like you said. It's like, how can we keep this up?
Yeah.
So we're gonna write about all kinds of weird shit. Expect the Awkward Sexual Experiences EP to drop spring of 2019.
What has Big Ed Green and the Kafka Machine, Abra Adam, added to Disillusion Effect since joining the band, man?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Jimmy Rhodes, our founding guitar player that we talked about a little bit earlier, he ended up moving to Florida, and he recruited Ed without even telling us. Like, he didn't want to just leave us high and dry, because it essentially would have been only me and Bob at that point, which the band would have been done in all likelihood. It would have been really difficult to rebound from losing another guy with no more options.
Right.
So, you know, unfortunately, a band that we always really liked and had the opportunity to play with, the Kafka Machine, they didn't work out. And Jimmy approached him, was like, hey, I'm moving. Do you want to join the DE? And Jimmy told me, man, he was like, instantly, no question. So we lucked out to get guys, and Adam just kind of came as part of a package deal, like an unknown package deal. Mm. He just wanted to come and try it out and jam for a little bit, and it worked out great, man. Those guys have been incredible assets to the band. We really look forward to writing with them, because them coming on so late to the project, they weren't able to contribute a lot of material per se to the next release. So we're really starting to scratch the surface to, you know, write, you know, what does the future hold for our music. And we're really excited about it, because those guys have a really strong death metal, a crazy technical death metal background, and I think could really open it up to some super aggressive music in the future. Just even harder hitting.
How much local support does Disillusion Effect get via fans and radio play and venues, man? How much support do you guys get over there?
You know, overall, it's been pretty incredible, man. We had the opportunity. There isn't a whole lot of places for a brutal metal band to play where we live. There really isn't.
Right.
You got a few options, but the band or the venues that'll have us, man, have always been great. You know, big shout out to 123 Pleasant Street for always letting us have shows. And, you know, it's kind of been where we came up, our home away from home. And these fucking guys just let us shoot our first music video there for free, just because,
nice.
You know, there was a good familiarity there, you know, so we were able to duplicate that cool live music kind of, you know, live show feel. So those guys were sweethearts for letting us do that. And, you know, big shout out to the WCLG Homegrown for having us on multiple times to talk about our shit and what's going on in the local heavy metal scene. You know, West Virginia University's U92, our boy John Casey at the fucking Morgantown Sound. They have a cool thing where local bands can basically play a set live on the air on the college radio station for people.
That's awesome.
You know, all kinds of bands. Everything from a 3-piece fucking folk group where they don't have shoes on while they're playing, to a brutal metal band with a bunch of assholes in it like us. So the local support, I mean, it's not a big scene because it being a college town, you know, you get a big cover band following. The clubs are huge, and really the independent live music scene is a bit in the underground. You know, the way it kind of always is. But, you know, some towns are a lot more supportive of that than others.
Right.
And, but in spite of that, dude, the people that come to a show, a DE show, they tend to come back and stick around, man. And we appreciate the shit out of everybody that continues to give a fuck, man. If, you know, they didn't show up, it would just be practice.
What can fans expect at a show from Disillusion Effect once they come out and see you guys?
You can expect 4 sweaty bodies to be giving it 100%. You know, we just, we like to play balls out and just give you everything that we got, man, because that's really our release. That's our opportunity to do it. So we try to do it like it's going to be the last time every time, man. So you can expect some pretty killer music, and just some fucking sexual machismo, hormonal overload. We're talking about, you know, monsoon moisture everywhere for the men, for the women, for the geriatric women who thought that it wasn't possible, that they thought it was shut down and it was done. We strive to get those beans jiving.
Do you guys prefer the digital era of music that we're in right now? Do you like this? I mean, I know you can get your music out there a lot easier and stuff, but do you like this era that we're in right now or no?
Well, you know, I think it comes with its pros and cons, man. Absolutely. You know, in terms of accessibility, who doesn't love it?
Right.
You'd be lying if you think that, you know, all this digital stuff that gives you, you know, MP3 preview singles before the shit drops and lyric videos and all music videos just at your fingertips, whatever you want. You're on top of all your favorite bands all the time. And that's great. But I think it's also, in spite of that convenience, people need to stop being so cheap and support their motherfucking artists. And I don't give a fuck who that pisses off, because the bottom line is, if you like a band and you want them to keep it up, you gotta show support somewhere financially. It's just not enough for you to share a stolen YouTube video on your Facebook.
True. What made you want to become...
But who doesn't love to, you know, I think the best policy, get your stream on, find out you like it, buy it. Or go check them out and buy a t-shirt, man. That's just as good, if not even better. Because that live show is probably going to sell you in the long run for that band.
I buy a lot of the, like pre-orders and stuff, digipacks, things like that. I buy a lot of that stuff. And people
Dude,
think, oh,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm a sucker. Most of the money that I make that doesn't go into the band goes into other bands.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little bit, maybe it's of the old school, you know, I'm only 30, but I like to collect music, albums. I like to be OCD about organizing that shit.
Oh, yeah.
I love my t-shirt collections and posters and patches and stickers all over fucking everything. You know, I like to collect that shit.
I mean,
and
yeah.
Anytime a band's like, hey, you know, $25, you pre-order this shit, we'll throw you a couple stickers, a CD, and a shirt. I buy that every time. If I like you and you got a pre-order, I bet you could find me in your registry somewhere. I just bought the Fit for an Autopsy fucking pre-order. Do you like those guys? They're fucking get ready to drop a Destroyer album on everybody.
I just pre-ordered the new Life of Agony, and I just
ooh, nice. And
I just pre-ordered the KXM. I mean, KXM's a hell of a band. And I think they're so underrated, but, hey, I'm a sucker for it too. I will pre-order stuff, not because of the perks or anything like that. It ain't cause of that. It's just like you said, you're helping that band out. That's it.
Oh man, and they need it, dude. You talk to these guys when they're out on the road.
Oh yeah.
And they'll tell you straight up that the pre-orders for them are huge.
Or buying a shirt at the merchandise table after a show, yeah.
Oh my God. Well, that's going to make sure that they can sometimes get something to eat after the show. The way that some of these CD operations and promoters operate. But yeah, dude, I mean, support your artists. Also got the new Byzantine pre-order, man. Shout out to the Byzantine guys. They got it going on right now.
I'm glad they got signed again to another record label, because their music is fucking phenomenal. I mean, if you can't get into them, there's something badly wrong with you.
I think so, man. And I think that they're more diverse than ever now. And some people are really going to get their minds blown on this new material, because it's just, like you said, it's got something for you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't like it, there's something fucking wrong with you.
They are.
These West Virginia guys slay. They absolutely slay. And, you know, I've been following those guys for a long time, because everyone in our state obviously looks up to that band. You know, we're a forgotten state in this country, and you don't hear about a lot of musicians coming out of West Virginia and being successful.
Yeah.
And the fact that these guys have carried the torch and they've been doing it for such a long time, it's crazy. It's crazy to see them get the Metal Blade deal like they did, man. Everyone's rooting for them. It's like the Mountaineers, dude. We're all behind it all the time.
So what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, that's what I want to do?
You know, I grew up listening to classic rock with, like, my mom. You know what I mean? She was a classic rocker. Dad loved, like, Elvis and Johnny Cash and all that good stuff. But Mom loved her classic rock, and that was the seed. And, you know, I've always really liked bands. And I think everyone at some point wants to be, like, the lead guitar player or the singer, you know, just kind of that marquee guy that gets to go up there and shake their dick a little bit. You know,
sure.
Give them a little bit of this, give them a little bit of that. But really, dude, what sold it to me, and I didn't become a metal singer until years later, but this was like the turning point. I went to Ozfest 2003.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first big, like, heavy metal show that I'd ever seen. I'd been to a couple of local things, but this was like the big deal. That's when it was in its height too. You know, I mean, we're talking early 2000s. Ozfest was the shit.
Yeah.
You went to that and you were going to get downstroyed.
Yep.
And it was like, you know, Ozzy Osbourne, of course, Marilyn Manson, Korn, Killswitch Engage when Howard Jones, like, first joined the band. Fucking Cradle of Filth. Fucking, we saw Moto Grader, who Ivan Moody from Five Finger Death Punch was the lead singer of at the time. That was crazy, seeing that shit.
Speaking of Ozfest, I got to see Ozfest 2001 when Pantera was on it. Static X was on it. Reveille was on it.
Man.
Soulfly was on it, and Kitty was on it. And a lot of people don't like Kitty, but I kind of dig them.
Dude, those chicks are awesome. They're awesome.
Let's see.
I think anyone's just being a hater.
Static X.
R.I.P. Wayne Static, man.
And I tell you one thing too, Disturbed actually played that when they were really nothing. You know,
I know, man. That's kind of what it was in 2003 when I saw him. You know, I'm not trying to shit on him, but
right.
You know, I'd seen so many killer, like, legendary acts. You know, we're talking about Manson in, like, his prime. Like, that was before he would get well, I guess he would always be a little bit of a wild card live, but
sure.
I mean, just the frontman factor that day was absolutely insane. So to see them, it was like, I mean, they're good. But that was like the band that you, like, chilled out and got a breath and a beer. Although I was only like 14 at the time, so I was shoulder tapping somebody. You know how that goes.
And the cool thing for me is that there was a chick that changed clothes right in front of me at Ozfest. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus.
Man, at your first show.
Thank you, Jesus.
You were like, oh, I'm hooked.
Yeah.
the debauchery, the things that could happen here. I got to come back.
Yeah, and my buddies are like, look, dude, she sounds like, shh, let her be. Let her be.
Yeah, until, something really happens where you got to step in, you got to let it play out. It's like, hey, she's making her decision, and we're supporting that.
What's it mean? And I'm sure you guys get this, but what's it mean to you when you receive an email from a fan, or prior to the shows or after the shows, they come up to you guys and say, hey, look, your music has helped me out through a tough time. It's gave me inspiration, or it's just made me, relax to the everyday bullshit that we go through. If you guys get this, what's that mean to you?
I'll tell you what, man. I think that for anybody that puts a lot into the process and gives a fuck about it. I mean, I think that being inspired by other people's songs drives you to kind of carry that flow forward. It's like, okay, I've been inspired. Now I'm going to write something, and maybe that can inspire someone else. I think that's the ultimate compliment, man. I think that's what you're talking about is way more complimentary than any riff or guitar solo or vocal part, production, drum, whatever. And there's no musical dynamic that I think is more flattering than what you're talking about. So I think that's the ultimate compliment. And you can't help to feel good, man. You can't help to feel good if someone can relate on some level to what they're doing, or be like, oh, even if they're like, dude, I don't know what it is. I don't listen to a lot of metal, but when I go to the gym, I'm throwing on the DE and getting down. That's awesome. That's awesome.
First of all, thank you guys for your music. This album that you have out right now is pretty badass. I've listened to it a lot here lately, actually. How can folks...
Oh, man, thank you.
How can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy this album, plus stay in touch, we're going to buy... I'm getting tongue-tied here. How can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, buy this album that's out right now, plus, keep in touch with tour dates when you guys go on tour and this new album going to come out? How can they do that, Chris?
I'll tell you what, man. We're everywhere. You can hit us up on our official website, disillusioneffect.com. You can check us out on Facebook, Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube. Behold the Inevitable Beast is available on iTunes and Rhapsody and CD Baby. Really, you can buy it anywhere, man. It's free streaming right now with all the lyrics and everything on our website. You could just Google us, man, and you can find us. We're on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. So, yeah, just definitely check us out, man. And we got, like I said, we got this Kickstarter going, so we're going to have a lot of news and a lot of stuff dropping here. Hopefully, have a single in the not too distant future of this new shit. And all I'm going to say about it is that it's thrashy as fuck.
Before I let you go, good sir, you care to do a promo for the show?
Oh, dude, no, that would be awesome, man. That'd be no problem at all. You got it, bud. This is Chris Rabideau from Disillusion Effect, and you are tuning in, getting your head knocked by BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, Chris.
Oh, absolutely, John. Thanks for having me, man.